In some project or sometimes definitely stressful. But good thing is I have been doing something I love to do. So I think it always comes with something you don't like, and then I gonna just tell myself, don't give up, work hard, and it's always like achievement, like big murals, after you finish it. That's really good feeling, such a achievements, and then gonna, step back and then sip beer or coffee and then take a look at it,
Hey, Airlanders, and welcome to episode 191 of the Camano Voice. Today I speak with a mural artist, the owner of Tireman Studios, who has done work with the Sounders, the Krakens, and Starbucks. Please welcome Shogo Ota.
Hi, I'm Brandon Erickson, and you're listening to the Camano Voice podcast, where I interview local business owners, comedians, singers, and more. I dive into their backstory to find out how they got where they are, what are some of the tips for you to do the same, and find out where they are going. Tune in every week as I interview more of the people you see every day.
Hey, Islanders, and welcome to another episode of the Camano Voice, where we release a new episode every Tuesday. And I am so excited for this episode. But before we get into all of that, we had our first annual Camano Cider Fest this last weekend. It was Labor Day weekend. And man, we had quite the turnout. So many people coming through. It was a ticketed event, which we've never really done like this before. So we sold 200 tickets pre-sale, and then we sold about 110 or so tickets at the door. And, the cideries said they really had a good time. Talked to a lot of different people who are big cider fans who found new cideries they'd never tried before, which was really exciting. And, just had a great turnout. Had a great time. The South End String Band did an excellent job, and it was fun to have them here, all four of them. Or four of them. I don't know how many normally play typically in their band, but they did a great job. And we had High on Tacos, so shout out to Brian. And that's episode, that's in the 100, before we even hit 100 episodes. That was a long time ago. So huge shout out to Brian for coming out with High on Tacos. Had a great time. Super cool event. Next year, we're hoping to make it even bigger and better, so be sure to look out for those tickets. We actually sold out of the pre-sale tickets last year, so it was a pretty epic event, I would say. Fun to be a part of, and a huge shout out to Emily, who was the one who decided about this event, who wanted to do it. She asked, can we do this? And she started planning last year. And we were like, 2 months isn't enough to get this thing going, so let's do it this year. So early on this year, she's like, okay, everybody, we got to get this going if we're going to do it. And, as we were building towards this event, there were times where it didn't look like it would necessarily happen. We were like, oh, well, we have to get a whole new organization put together. We have to get a liquor license for events. We have to get some sponsorships because it's actually going to cost a lot more money than any other event we've ever done. We've got to start gathering these other cideries and vendors that we've never worked with before. But man, Emily stepped up to the plate. She did a great job. So huge shout out to her on a successful event and all that she did. So, all right. Well, I'm going to jump into this episode now. So this episode I've been looking forward to for a long time. And if you don't know him, you soon will, because he is showing up everywhere, both large scale and small scale. Local here in the Camano and Stanwood community. He actually has done, Shogo Ota has done the artwork for the MAC, which is the Mobile Art Center. I think that's what it's called, for SCAC, which is the Stanwood Camano Arts Advocacy Commission. I can speak. But recently, he completed the mural in the front of the marketplace. So I'm a huge fan of that, and we're hoping to get more things there as well. He also did the work inside of Primal, the big wall that has Primal hidden behind it. And he's done work for Tapped It in some of their other locations as well. So he's showing up everywhere. He's doing all sorts of work all over the place, and he does such a great job. His style is, to me, it's very unique. It's kind of a blend of Asian and even like indigenous to some degree. So if you've seen like indigenous artwork, it's kind of a fusion to me of like indigenous and Asian. But he also has a lot of other styles he does, like paints in and creates. So very wide spanning. In fact, one of his nicknames is like the artistic chameleon or something along those lines. So anyways, and what's funny is his wife actually reached out to me pretty soon after I started this podcast, and I was looking forward to it. And I was like, yeah, I'll definitely get him on the podcast. And then, I was still interviewing the people I knew to get more comfortable with podcasting. And then I looked at his account, I don't know, 6 months, a year later, and he had worked with companies like Starbucks, Red Hook down in Seattle. He'd done all these really big projects. I'm like, oh man, there's no way I'm going to get him on the podcast now. So I was so excited when I was able to work with him on the mural here on the marketplace. And I was like, so I still want to have you on the podcast. And he's like, absolutely. So I'm so excited for this episode. It's been a long time coming, but we finally made it. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Shogo Ota. Hey Islanders, and welcome to another episode of the Camano Voice. Today I'm here with a local mural artist, owner of Tireman Studio, and has done work with the Sounders, the Kraken, and Starbucks, and many more. Welcome to the podcast, Shogo Ota.
Hello.
Hey, so before we get started, tell us a little bit about Shogo.
About me? Okay. Well, my name is Shogo Ota. I'm an artist, designer, creator, whatever you call me. I am originally from Japan and live in Camano Island. I used to live in Seattle, Battered, West Seattle area. But now I'm in Camano Island with my wife and 3 kids and dog. Yeah.
Awesome.
Local artist, yeah.
Very cool. So did you grow up in Japan?
I did till I was 18.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. What was growing up, I guess first of all, what part of Japan did you grow up in?
Oh, I grew up in Gifu, Japan. It's like in main island, Honshu Island, right in the middle. Like if you point Japan right in the middle, that's my hometown. Gifu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. How big is that town?
Oh, that's a good question. I always forget how many populations.
Well, not exact population, but like, is it a bigger town or smaller?
It's kind of like here, small town. I'm from countryside.
Okay.
There are beautiful rivers and snow mountains and not too many people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What was it like growing up there for you?
It was like, summertime, like August season, like I always went to river with my buddies, jumping the river from the big rocks, and the bridges. I've done like 3 bridges before in my hometown. Playing soccer. I mean, a little bit Nintendo as just a normal kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And as you were growing up, were you always an artist at heart? Were you always kind of drawing and doing things?
I don't think so. I used to, I loved art classes.
Okay.
Because, when you go to school, it's like history, English, and then some reason like art class, many times it's like a two, what do you mean? Like two...
time slots?
2 time slots, yeah. So art. Then Japanese language or something like that. So I really like that 2 slots classes, and then, so I can spend more time and work on whatever I'm drawing. So, yeah.
At that time, was it mainly drawing? Were you painting, sculpting?
When I was small, mainly painting, watercolor, acrylics, a little bit of those paper clay sculpture thing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Cool. So then as you were getting older, as you got into high school and stuff, was it something you were wanting to pursue, or were you kind of pointed in a different direction?
No, not at all. I wasn't even thinking doing art for my business till I was like university student. My major was, business and economics.
Okay.
Till first, freshman year.
Okay.
So, junior high school, No, I was just playing soccer, playing with my buddies and hanging out with my girlfriend or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Normal kids. Yeah.
Did you have a position you typically played in soccer?
Forward. Yeah.
Forward. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So then, did you do university? Is that what kind of brought you to the States?
Yeah, long story short, I wanted to go to university in Japan.
Okay.
But I failed all exams.
Okay.
So it's really strict. You know about it? Like you have only one chance a year.
Okay.
And then if you fail, you have to study another year, 12 months, to try again.
Wow.
They don't give you like 2 or 3 times, or like, check your score. I don't know the exact system here, but in Japan it's pretty strict. You have to pass, get some kind of scores. Otherwise, you don't get selected by universities. And then I couldn't make any of it. That was actually a pretty big memory and kind of bad memory to me. Because everybody's going to like big cities for like second life after, graduate high school. And I was like, what am I going to do,
Wow.
But my mom especially didn't let me to stay in my house and study another year, I don't think she trusted me.
You're done.
yeah, you're done. And she was like, go to U.S. Because she used to actually study abroad.
Okay.
Like San Jose or Santa Monica, I forgot. Somewhere West Coast.
Yeah.
And one of her dreams was like I'm second kid with 3 boys.
Okay.
She always wanted to send at least one of her kids to different countries.
Okay.
So I kind of did that.
Yeah. So where did that land you?
So Idaho, your question. So I went to Idaho because my older brother's, one of his good friends, I think she was students there at the time. And she was kind of, like, I grew up with her, so she was like my big sister in my hometown. And she kind of took care of me, took me like Walmart and then buy those like, cheap shampoos and everything the first week. And I went to, ESL for like 1 year. Then enter University of Idaho because it was the program. If you graduate ESL, you can enter university. So I was like, I can finally enter university.
Nice.
And then I chose business economics.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your plan with your degree?
No plan.
No plan.
I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And because when I was trying to go to university in Japan, you have to pick. You have to go to a law school or major as a lawyer or business or art universities. You have to pick before the exam.
Okay.
You can't really change it. If you change it, you have to do another 4 years in Japan. That's kind of like bad system, I think.
Yeah.
But here, whatever you enter, and then you can always change.
Right.
You can pick, right? I think it's better system. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, maybe I was going for business. So I'm going to be a businessman, right? So I just picked that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So then, did you finished your degree? What did you do after you got out of school?
So after I changed to art and finished school,
Okay, so you changed to art
I changed
during it.
after freshman, yes.
Okay.
Yes, because my friend told me I look like artist or designer. So I was like, oh, that's cool. That sounds cooler than a business person. No offense for business people, but because my business part is really important. That's how I changed it and graduate, and I got an internship in Seattle.
Okay.
A small design company called Modern Dog, which changed my life pretty much, changed my art and design and way of thinking of creativities. Yeah,
Nice.
That was my best experience, even better than school.
Yeah.
Like in professional field, like there's no grade. You always have to, get A's for your project,
Yes.
professional project. So I was there for 6 years, almost 7 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it that they did that taught you so much and grew you?
It was small company, so my bosses, I had 2 bosses, and then we took like lots of different kind of projects. Sometimes, logo projects, sometimes music posters, some illustrations for vinyls, like anything. So there's no time to pick one style or anything or develop my own style. You have to kind of work with clients, work with your bosses.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have to be really versatile for different project and themes or directions or bosses' feedbacks. So that was really good. I would say like practice, professional practice.
Yeah.
When I was like much younger designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And that was all primarily, was that graphic design primarily?
Graphic design, more like graphic design company. But that company was really art based. So I still remember first week or two, my boss told me, Shogo, you're using computer too much. Like work on, pencil and sketchbooks or pens, color pencils, whatever,
Yeah.
Work on that more.
Okay.
Yeah, don't jump in the computer too much.
Right.
Yeah, that was really inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So then how did you like moving over to Seattle from Idaho?
Oh, I loved it. I went to Seattle a couple times for like shopping or, site tours and kind of stuff. And then also I was kind of lazy. It was like the biggest city and closest from Idaho.
Yeah.
I didn't want to think about like going to New York or, expensive too.
Right.
Or San Francisco or California area. So it was like one reason, closer. And the other reason, like it's not too expensive compared to other, states. And also the evergreen state. I grew up in countryside.
Yeah.
So Seattle, Washington State's like really beautiful. I do like mountain biking, snowboarding, camping. So I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Was there ever any intention of moving back to Japan after you graduated or started working?
No, I wasn't thinking about it.
Okay.
I wanted to stay. And then, lots of, foreign students think about, I'm going to become an English teacher or translator, which is great. But I was thinking, I want to use English as a tool and do something else, something that I want to enjoy. I want to, maybe be a professional about something, but you use English. And then I like the culture here, and people in Japan work too much to me. Hard workers, yes. And I believe I am too. But I didn't kind of think about myself to work for Japanese companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny to hear from another country that America doesn't work as hard as, or like, typical Americans don't work as hard as the other country. Because you go anywhere in Europe, they're like, wait, you worked how much?
It's kind of different ethic,
Right.
If you want to have 3 weekends, you can focus on 4 days, or you want to be kind of lazy and work and kind of slow for 5 days and I think it's kind of different work ethic. Yeah.
Well, and obviously, like, there's cultural pieces to all of that, but and I don't think there's a wrong way. I've done a lot of work down in Central America and stuff like that, and they don't care at all about time or work. Like, work just flows into everything else. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's not like when you're at work, you're at work. It's like, oh, but my buddy stopped by, so I spent 3 hours talking to him, and then I took him to lunch, and then we did this thing, and then and then they come back and they're like, oh yeah, but then they'll work on a Saturday because they're like, oh yeah, the guy asked if I can be on Saturday, so I did. So it's just different. Yeah,
as long as you finish project or make work done, I think that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Granted, there were multiple times working in Central America where the work didn't get done because I was like, is this happening? Oh yeah, we'll do it tomorrow. No, like I'm only here for a week. We need to get done. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow will be good.
Yeah.
Fine. I guess we'll wait.
That's okay.
So,
Yeah.
That's all right though. So where did you go after working at the design company?
After design company, actually my plan was, it was great, smaller design company, so I could learn art, design, and business at the same time. But I thought maybe I should have bigger company experience. So I actually applied for Starbucks before. I don't think they remember me. And other bigger design company, more like in downtown Seattle. But it didn't happen. So I was like, I always wanted to start my own studio. So I just started it in 2012.
Okay.
Just by myself. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So the name of your studio is Tireman Studio.
Uh-huh.
Where does that name come from?
Okay, yeah. That name is, I was really shy about using my own name. Now I use it in my website. I say Shogo Ota.
Yeah.
Because no one knows my studio name anyways after 11 years. But I submitted this collage mixed media piece to local newspaper company called, in Seattle, The Stranger.
Okay.
They don't print anymore, only in the digital, which is good for environment issues and stuff. But they decided to use that for cover art for like it's like a 1 week or 2 weeks, I don't know. and I just remember that piece, and it's like a kind of like a Michelin guy, like lots of tires stucking up, and I added like a arms and legs, and I called Tireman. So I was like, oh, okay, Tireman Studio. No reason, yeah, just that. Yeah,
And it just stuck.
yeah.
Very cool. So then, as you were getting started, how did you start getting clients and stuff like that?
How I was just, I don't even remember. I kind of, shared my, I'm going to start studio by myself in like a Facebook or something. I don't think there's like Instagram back in the day or anything. And like, if you guys have any project, small project, I'll do everything, And I remember I was like editing photos sometimes and like a small advertisement, ads. Then good thing I never pay for like those paid advertising.
Yeah.
I'm kind of proud of myself. But just word of mouth, I just do 100% my best for each project.
Yeah.
I even thought about maybe I can, I like cooking, so maybe I thought I can get a weekend kind of restaurant gig or nighttime or something.
Yeah.
But I was like, it doesn't sound right,
Yeah.
I should maybe focus on even small project, big project, doesn't matter. Just do your best, and so more people know about your piece, and they will like what you do. So I didn't do that, and just focus on small piece first.
Yeah.
Then, I don't know. Then now, 10, 11 years later, I still worry about business and everything. But that's always something I think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you've been referred to as a stylistic chameleon, and your work spans multiple art forms such as canvases and things like that.
Different medias too,
Yeah.
Style-wise, yeah.
So, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I think most reason I have different styles and I cannot pick just like one style is I used to work for this small design company called Modern Dog. They do everything, and then interns to bosses to employee, senior designers. We work on one project, and sometimes we change the style or mediums or way to edit it. So I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like, I think I get bored doing kind of like one style over and over and over, which is great. Like, I kind of miss that at the same time. I kind of jealous about it because some artists like really strong style, and you can tell right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I have that. Some people actually told me before they can still tell that's my piece, which makes me happy too. But at the same time, next project, I was like, I want to do something totally different and surprise people, So I enjoy like different tools, art tools, mediums, styles, and then develop little by little based on the clients or project.
Yeah. Very cool. And at this point, I've seen like your Instagram and your different forms, and you've done a lot of different styles, but you, especially on some of your animals and stuff like that, a lot of the water life, have this very, very unique design to them.
Patterns,
designs.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
That pattern thing is actually pretty new, maybe in this couple years. I used to use that a little bit in different way, but it's still, I think I'm still trying to develop it too. Like trying to, I don't know how, but develop it somehow.
Yeah.
By changing the patterns or colors or shapes or, it's all flat now, so I'm thinking maybe I can make it a little bit more depth in it or try, I don't know. But that's kind of new thing that I've been kind of trying to develop.
Yeah. And did you draw inspiration from anything or a particular like background or anything that kind of developed that?
Yeah. I use some of the Japanese like traditional patterns like you see in like hokusai ukiyo-e drawings or some kimono wears, and I kind of tweak it or sometimes even mix with other cultures, kind of, like Africans or Indians or anything. I like, this kind of shape is cool. What if I change this to that and then mixing with Japanese patterns? So I'm trying to make really interesting patterns out of different cultures and art. Yeah.
Very cool.
So it might keep changing.
Yeah. Well, and when you look around the world or you see different art styles from around the world, are you constantly kind of looking at them and seeing like, well, how could I integrate that?
Oh yeah. I always check lots of designs and art, and I don't have much time to watch a movie or anything, but I can watch movie posters or trailers, or my friends' art or what's around there. I always pay attention what's out there, and of course I don't copy, but I was like, oh, that's cool idea, maybe I can kind of have that thinking, just like a thinking or methods for this part of the next project, or I can develop like that, or So I always check tons of art, my friends' art, other people's art, and package design sometimes, music posters, everything. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. So you've done a lot of you've done murals, you've done all sorts of different mixed mediums, but you've also done some unusual different projects as well. What would you say is the most unusual object that you've put your stamp on?
Yeah, that was a good question. I have to think about it. I think so. Murals, usually like drywall or bricks or corrugated metal, which is the worst one to me. But the one project, sorry, it's a big company, Starbucks. They sent me this rolls of denim fabric.
Okay.
And they didn't want to just like screen prints on top or paints on top. They wanted to keep those cool denim materials.
Yeah.
If you cover with paint, you cannot see the paint, denim materials, right? So I was like, oh, what if I dye it? It's really punk rock way to think about it, so I loved it. So I made like maybe 5-6 different bottles of bleach, like 50% water, 30% water, 20% water. Because if you add too much bleach and bleach the denim, it breaks it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I have to like test it to see if I can dye the denim like a perfect way. You can still see the design, and also you can still see the denim materials.
Yeah.
So after I got sick a couple times by inhaling bleach too much, I actually figured out and made these 2 big pieces, and it's still in Manhattan, New York, in the Starbucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was for a store.
For the store, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That was kind of cool experience. I thought it's kind of like punk rock and.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is something it's a question I've had for artists, because artists have their styles, or at least you're the professional, so you have a good idea of what you want to do. But in the same way, when you get a commissioned piece, people also have their own ideas of what they want it to look like. How do you kind of balance those two things?
Great question. Commission piece is sometimes a little bit easier to me because, for example, you ask me something, you have already kind of like your vision by looking at my maybe like 1 or 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So I can go with that style. I don't have to come up with like 3 different styles and, hey, which one do you like, and develop them later or anything, which I do for client-based project. But commission piece like that, I take your ideas, yes, and then, similar to the orca whale idea, how we gonna do like jump in the front or backside,
right?
Or 1 orca or 2 orcas,
right?
Patterns or not, and monotones, colorful, So yeah, I always respect clients, people's request. And then I always kind of develop it.
Yeah.
Like a little tweak with me, and then kind of maybe safe direction, and I always show I like to show in like a little funkier direction and maybe something between. Mm-hmm. Then we kind of talk about it and develop. So, yeah.
That's very cool. And talking of that, I didn't mention at the top of the show, but you did the painting or the mural for us at the front of our building, which looks awesome.
Thank you.
And we did a movie night the other night, and I didn't turn around and look, but my wife had mentioned when she got home, she's like, I don't know if you've seen it at night, but it's amazing looking at night.
Oh, is it?
It's different color. The spotlights are on it, so it really stands out.
Nice. That's good to know.
So it's, so excited. I think it looks amazing. And that was one of the things, though, when we were going back and forth, your initial, when you sent the
pencil sketch.
Yeah, the sketch is over. I was, in my head, I always think of an orca jumping forwards over the thing. And so when he did backwards, I was like, I didn't even think of that. And so we ended up going with that because it was more unique. You know, a lot of people...
It's kind of dynamic look. You know? Yeah.
So, and I love just there's a lot of different mixtures of designs within it. Like the waves are very Japanese influence.
It is actually. I actually changed the waves just for that. I've never used that wave before.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple other waves that I use, but that one I kind of wanted to try, like 2 different colors and little reflections in it. And I ended up, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, I know that, like, trying to find your, like, favorite art piece is, like, very difficult because you pour so much into each one. But is there one that stands out as, like, very memorable to you?
That is really hard questions. What was I thinking? So this is another mural. The mural that I installed in Edmonds in Washington, 45 minutes from here, in downtown Edmonds. There are lots of murals out there. It's pretty cool if you just walk around the main area. You can see lots of really different style cool murals. And then I got one wall right by Sankai Sushi and another restaurant. Oh, what was that? Salt and Iron.
Okay.
Salt and Iron, yeah. So it's actually on Salt and Iron restaurant. It's aosagi, which means blue heron. Really Japanese style, like ukiyo-e, old block printing style. Because Edmond's sister city is Hekinan City, kind of by my hometown in Tokai area. So we decided to use the same bird that exists in both cities.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there are 2 small windows, so I didn't want to kind of cut my art. So trying to come up with cool shape of the bird, still one piece, all connected, and then little wave on the bottom. But anyways, that was my first experience that someone, elderly person, stopped by and said, usually people are like, oh, that's cool, good job, have fun. She said, thank you for doing that for our community, That word still kind of, I was like, oh, I guess I'm doing this for community too. You know, that kind of, it kind of made me think a little bit different way of installing murals or art.
Yeah.
Because it's not just looking cool or badass, that I love it too. But for some people, that's gonna become their memories or like a part of the community or streets, So that was kind of memorable. Just one comment and project.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So your art has garnered international acclaim from all over.
Little bit.
Yeah. How do you think your work? Why do you think your work resonates with people from all walks of life?
Because I have bigger clients now. They are awesome. I mean, it's actually true because I have more chance to show off my art.
Yeah.
Especially from like Starbucks. I understand some people have different opinions about it, but as an artist, that's awesome. Like they always use my art in different stores. Like in Japan, like my buddy or friends, family members, even my mom, oh, Shogo, I found your piece in Starbucks in Osaka. Like I have no idea where my art goes, Yeah. And they take pictures and tag me on Instagram and stuff.
Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
About kind of international thing. Yes.
Yeah.
But other ones, I don't know. I just enjoy small to big projects, so it doesn't really matter, like Camano Island or Japan,
Yeah.
It's always, and I don't know why. I don't know how to think about this question, but hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah, no, for sure. So speaking of which, like you have worked with some big groups, Starbucks. At the top show, we mentioned that you worked with the Krakens and the Sounders. How did those kind of come about?
Some of them competitive work, and most of them, I'll say 95% of them are word of mouth.
Okay.
So if you do even like small work, someone's looking at it. Like first time I got the Starbucks gig, it was maybe free show by 11 by 17, digital prints, music posters. And then also like one of my friends show my website to Starbucks people because she used to work at headquarters Starbucks.
Okay.
So someone saw it like, oh, let's ask him to make couple screen printed posters. and that was my very very first project. But what was the question?
Yeah. Well, just kind of how did those jobs come about? And it sounds like one of them was kind of connection, but just showing and
lots of connections. Yeah. The other clients, like in the first year, second year, she saw like little maybe brochure or a sandwich board or something, and she really liked it.
Yeah.
And then let's contact him. Like, where's his business card? It was like a boutique or something.
Yeah.
Like a skincare, like some place. And,
yeah.
She got my business card and contacted me, and I still work with her after 10 years. Yes.
Nice. Yeah. How did you get involved with the Sounders?
Sounders, that was... How did I get... That, I think that was competitive work, too. I have to submit.
Okay.
Someone introduced that project to me, and hey, they are looking for artists to make that was a scarf, a seasonal scarf, and I think you would be a good fit, and you can submit your portfolio, and then okay, and luckily I got selected. So I still do like lots of competitive work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So obviously you've worked with a lot of big brands already, but are there certain ones that you are on your bucket list that you really want to be able to work with?
Oh yeah, the company wise.
Yeah.
Oh man, I always love Fjallraven clothes. I'm wearing it today. Of course, I think all artists, designers want to work with Nike. I do like lots of 2D work, but if they ask me like to design some shoes or something, we're like, this is Air Max, and you can do whatever you want. I would love to do that. I like outdoor stuff, so like Patagonia, Arc'teryx, that kind of companies.
Yeah.
Like a t-shirts, jacket, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Very cool. I'm a huge fan. Me and a couple of my buddies are like huge outdoor clothing fans. So like one of us is really into Patagonia. I'm really into Arc'teryx. And we're just always like, we should go down to REI today. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot.
Yeah.
Fjallraven too, like the big stores in Soto, like a huge, awesome store. I can spend like hours there.
Yeah, me too. Very cool. Like we were working through this with the mural here. You're super busy now. Like you're, at least this summer, you've like exploded in so many different ways. With all of that, how do you kind of recenter yourself and kind of keep your energy and spirit and all that up?
Yeah. How do I do that? Yeah, I think my wife thinks I'm a workaholic. I'm always working. Yes. Last night I was staying up till 2:30. Yeah. I'm a night owl, not a morning person.
Okay.
But I keep myself like I enjoy too. Some project or sometimes definitely stressful. But good thing is I have been doing something I love to do. So I think it always comes with something you don't like, and then I gonna just tell myself, don't give up, work hard, and it's always like achievement, like big murals, after you finish it, that's really good feeling, such a achievements, and then gonna, step back and then sip beer or coffee and then take a look at it, That's really good moments of it, and then that kind of gives me, okay, let's do something cool again, something awesome job again, and I guess I just love doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's most of the things that I can make myself keep going.
Yeah. And what is it for you? Do you have moments of reflection of looking back, or just looking currently and being like, wow, I get to do this for my living?
Oh yeah. Sometimes yes. Because I have lots of friends in the bands, for example. So and then I do like a show posters, right? So I have to go out and then go to the show, and it's part of my job. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Or like Sounders or Krakens, after design's done, they always invite me to those fancy private rooms with like drinks and food and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's kind of little. I'm glad I was staying up till like 2-3 a.m. every day. I can do this just one day.
Yeah. That's
price.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So then looking ahead, what are some of the future projects that you kind of see on the horizon?
Like something that I want to do in the horizon, like what I think
Yeah,
coming.
like maybe both. What do you kind of have coming up, and then what are things that you would really like to see in the future?
In the future, I've been doing lots of projects, so I'm hoping just enough amount of projects is coming. I love to work with good project with good people. But I think I was thinking is maybe someday, like in the future, I want to do like an entire store or a cafe or whatever restaurant.
Yeah.
I've done like branding too, but like everything,
Start to finish.
like even like location or I've been on logos and murals too, but that included I do interior design or like even pick chairs or tables, wall cutters and murals on top, or what kind of mugs, like the entire art direction.
Yeah.
That would be challenging and fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you're in the right area for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
If any city in the world is going to do that, I think somewhere in Seattle
yeah,
would be up for doing that.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of nice to work with one person because I do like branding, so I do logos to murals, so you don't have to deal with like 4 or 5 different artists because you have to have a consistent look for one brand or even cafe or startup companies, So I think that's my little strong point about I can take a kind of wide range of project.
Yeah.
For the consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, then, what is it that when it comes to branding, what are the things that you see as the most important piece around that and keeping a company consistent?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what kind of companies or project I'm working on. But for branding, for example, you're asking consistency. Yes.
Yeah.
Like you have to see, you could tell from the. A mural could be anything these days. The T-shirts and murals that could be funky, but like other like logos to menus to custom little illustration on the menu kind of stuff. You might want to make it a little consistent, So maybe work with one company or one person would help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, looks like someone work on the logo, someone work on the little art piece or menus.
Right.
You don't see the consistency there, so it doesn't look like one store or company.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think for small businesses? What do you see the importance of branding for a small business? Because like on national or larger businesses, it makes sense, right? Because they're going to be seeing this in Alabama and in New York and in Seattle or wherever.
They can do whatever they want.
But for a small business, they're going to have a much smaller impact. So what do you see as the most important things when it comes to branding for a small business?
Small business. I mean, for small business, first thing I will recommend is don't be too cheap about hiring artists or designers. It doesn't have to be me, right?
Yeah.
But, my cousin has Photoshop or Illustrator, let's ask him. Or, that's like a worst idea. Or like, this is 99logo.com,
Yes.
There's actually one client, they did that. You might be actually called 99logo.com. I don't know.
Yeah, there's 99designs.com.
Yeah. And then, we didn't get what we wanted to. Yes, because you get what you pay for for design world or art world. So they asked me to do menus and logos and, no, I'm not being cocky about it, but they're really happy about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yes, I hope so because I hope I have enough experience better than 99designs.com.
Right.
So for small business, yes, it's like your investment.
Yeah.
So if you be cheap about it, your business will be cheap too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might be a little bit in the beginning, but maybe find like a good artist, have good enough experience, something you like, and then even if it's a little bit expensive, I think you should go for it for your business because your business won't just you're not thinking like 1 year business, right?
Right.
Mostly 5, 10 at least.
Yeah.
So kind of think about investment.
Yeah. That's great. How would you tell for small businesses then,
what about rebranding? What do you think is the importance of it, and do you think it's worth it for that investment? If, say, they did kind of start on a shoestring, they kind of did the 99 designs here, and they did the friend over here, and so they've got this hodgepodge.
I mean,
You're like,
I mean, that point, if you're ready for redesign, just don't even think about old designs. Just, for example, if you decided to work with me, I'll be like, let's start over. Start over. Yeah. If you want to keep using like one animal or something, like an object or plants that you are really connected to, this is from my childhood with my grandma or something.
Right.
Yes, of course we can use that. But if you don't have strong connection to whatever you're using right now, currently, and then you're ready to change it. Yeah. And then a little bit, maybe you might have to end up paying a little bit more because you might want to hire designers or a company or freelancers. Gonna get ready for that too. The finance wise.
Right.
And don't be, I guess, scared of changing. Yeah. Because otherwise, it kind of like looks similar and your business similar, and then people don't see the difference, and then it doesn't look like you refreshed it. It doesn't look like a new business. Or, yeah.
So you're kind of getting at like, don't just try and like
tweak
half-heart it. Tweak it. Like don't just try and like make it better. Mm-hmm. Blow it all up, because then it's like it impact like we've done
fresh new look. Yeah. I'll say so. Depends on the business again, but if you're ready to change, just change it. Yeah.
Very cool. That's great. One of the things my brother-in-law is, he's an English major, but he actually owns the coffee roaster company, which is, kind of like our sister company. Okay. We're technically separate companies, but like people don't know that. People think of us as one company. But one of his things he's always implored on to me was like fonts are so important. He's like, stop changing fonts, and like if you have a font. It was funny because we were driving down the other day, and he sees this over archway of something, and he's like, that thing looks like it's what did he say? I don't know. He's like, it looks like a thing to a construction yard or something. Like, he's like, and it's the font. What were they thinking with that font?
I get that too. Yes, I mean, I'm a trained graphic designer for like 7 years. So fonts, like, people always make fun of that. What is it? Like a papyrus, like those fonts.
Or Comic Sans?
Comic Sans, yeah. Those, like, I would like, why? Why? I mean, fonts are important for branding. Yes. Yeah. I mean, big companies definitely has, font families, and I cannot use besides their fonts. Which is fine, because mostly art is the main, and a little information is their branding fonts. But I mean, if you don't know how to pick fonts, it's good time to hire some designers too. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool. So, looking ahead, what are some of the big projects that you have on the horizon?
I have been working with Starbucks Japan, so I think I'm going there, business trip, one of my best, business trip, because you can go internationally. Everything will be paid. That'll be happening next year. And cool. This is kind of new thing. Mural competition, we were just talking about it. This weekend in Bellingham, it's called the Noisy Water Mural Fest.
Okay.
Start from Friday till Sunday. So 8 of us, and other muralists doing like different things, but 8 of us are competing on the stage. We're gonna start Friday morning and finish by Sunday. Yeah. And we're gonna have a first, second, third place, and some commissioned mural gig is coming too.
Very
if
cool.
you win or something. Yeah.
Is that put on by the city of Bellingham?
I think so. City of Bellingham and other organization too, like art committee or
Nice.
And then I've been thinking of like 15, 20 projects, so I don't remember everything. But
Well, just locally, you did the SCAC Mobile Art Center.
Yes.
And you've done work locally, even in this complex as well. You've done work over at Primal, the new barbecue restaurant.
Yeah, that's a new mural inside, and then same owner owns the Tap, next door. Mm-hmm. I did a big mural in Mill Creek, and now we might do the other location in where was that? The other location. We might do the outside one.
Okay.
And I have like maybe 8, 10 murals coming by next year or 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of meetings, and I'm working with City of Seattle right now for the new Fisherman's Terminal by Ballard Bridge. That'll be pretty giant mural. That'll be next year. But,
Okay. Do you think that'll be your biggest mural you've ever done?
That one might be the biggest, yes. The biggest right now is in Soto.
Okay.
By the east side of West Seattle Bridge.
Okay.
On the warehouse. It's about 120 foot wide.
Wow.
It's a big chameleon piece. That might be the biggest.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. And how long do you say, like, a mural project typically takes you? I mean, I guess it varies on the size, but like your general
time. So the Oka one,
Yep.
I did in 3 days.
Yep.
So that's like 15 by 10 or something like that. No, 10 by 10.
10 by
12 by 12.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So that size up to maybe 15 by 10, something like that. 3-4 days if I can access like from the morning to nighttime.
Yep.
Like no limits or anything. I can do 3 to 4, 5 days. I spent 9 days with my assistant in Indianapolis.
Okay.
That was a couple years ago. That was 50 by 40 or something like that.
Wow.
With nine colors, 8 or 9 colors. 2 of us, 9 days straight.
Wow.
Like we went back after dinner too, like every day.
Oh my word.
Yeah, yes. And then that's pretty giant, colorful piece. So I wanted to check.
That's
it out.
probably
Yeah.
your biggest, like, yeah.
Biggest and the most spent most time. Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
9 days straight is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's got to be, well, because like you're physically, like you're going up, you're going down.
Yes.
And your hand, like, I
Shoulder.
feel like, shoulder,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Shoulder and neck.
Yep.
I go like massage and acupuncture sometimes.
Yep.
Otherwise, my back is gonna explode. yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
like to end every podcast with some rapid fire questions. So the first one is, what purchase of $100 or less have you enjoyed the most in the last 3 months?
That was really hard. I have to think about it. So it was this keychain. Like it's called a masterpiece. I think made it in Japan. I did
Okay.
it, and then they had it in East Coast, somewhere like New York shop, masterpiece, and it has really cool like blast kind of lock parts and really strong leather.
Yeah.
And I can organize my keys, and this Ridge key case is actually thinking about it too.
Oh, nice.
I've been working with them right now, so they sent me a bunch of those.
Yep.
So those set is like, I like organizing stuff.
Yes.
So list 100, I'll pick this one.
Yeah, very cool. And I've got one of the Key Smarts, which is similar to the Ridge keychain, and it just makes such a difference because I used to run around with so many keys, and you
me
pull it
too.
out of your pocket, and you're like, how the heck am I supposed to get to the key I need? But now it's like once you get used to it, you can in your pocket feel the right key, and you can flick it out, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
It makes it so much nicer.
You need like actually like maybe 3 keys.
Yeah.
But people usually have like 15.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very cool. So who do you consider the most influential person outside of your family in your life?
Yeah, good question. So I'm an artist and designer. So for my job, I would say people, Mike and Robin from Modern Dog. They're the 2 bosses, Michael Strasberger and Robin Ray. They're my last ever my design art studios boss for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And before that I was students, but they're like my boss, my teachers, and taught me business and art at the same time. So if I didn't work for them, I don't think I'm doing this, or I'm not even here.
Yeah.
They support me my working visa for like 6 years and support me for when I started my own business. So
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And that piece that you mentioned there, the art and business side, we've worked with so many artists in the past who have the art side, but zero understanding of the business side. And you're trying to sell stuff for them, and yet they can't get you whatever it is, so you can do that. And you're like, I'm trying to help you.
Yes. I mean, I don't say most, but lots of artist designers, I mean, they're good ones, don't know how to do business or even like, I think it's important to have a kind of fun, become a fun person, like a good personality, and then makes you think, oh, I want to work with you again. You know? Not just because your work has to be good. Yes, that's like a bottom line requirements to me. But also, you're good with business, good with, good mannerism, good fun person to hang out. That's also a really important thing as an artist these days.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. This is a fill in the blank question. I know this is weird, but I've always wanted to blank.
I just told you, like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to be, when I was like 20s, But, I mean, when I was little, I wanted to become a soccer player or baseball player.
Yeah.
And when I was high school, I used to work, my uncle used to come to my house and, hey, Shogo, what do you want to do? What do you want to become? I was like, I don't know. Like, oh, you're good at talking and you should become a lawyer. I was like, a lawyer, huh? So, I mean, I thought about it, but not like always wanted to be. But after I failed my college, before I came to US, I was actually thinking hairstylist.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty good at like kind of hand work thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and I used to cut my friend's hair or mom's hair.
Yeah.
They sometimes dye, and I was like, oh, maybe that could be my job. And I kind of told my mom, and she was like, no, you are not becoming a hairstylist. You are going to US and then study language and culture. Yeah, you're still young. Yeah. So I really appreciate my mom kind of pushed me. For that.
Very cool. I love that. Who's an interesting or fascinating person that I should interview next?
So he is an artist, local artist in CAA, Camano Art Associations. Mm-hmm. John Lingen.
Okay.
I don't know how to read. But he is 95 years old. I went to his reception, birthday party and art reception a couple months ago. He still does art.
Wow.
And open art shows. I don't know if we can do interview here. But I was talking to him 10 minutes, and then he told me when he was younger, I did this and that, and it was really, really cool stories that he had.
Yeah.
But if not, my buddy, he's in Seattle, but Victor Melendez, good friend of mine, Mexican buddy, we've done 3-4 murals together, like a collaboration piece.
Okay.
Not sure if he can come over here sooner or later, but. He has distinct style that sometimes I'm jealous about, and then cool guy. I actually went to his hometown, Mexico City, for this Corona Music Fest, and we had a booth, and then sold our screen print posters and stay at his brother's house in Mexico City.
Okay.
And it will be kind of interesting guy to interview.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, and lastly, what piece of advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
I was thinking about it. It's kind of a little sad, but I will say, if I can see myself in 20s, I will say, bring your first kid, first one, or second one, doesn't matter. Well, first one is better, to Japan to meet my grandma and uncle, because they are already passed. And then they didn't have a chance to meet any of my grandkids, my grandma's grandkids. Yeah. So I will say that.
Go right away.
Go right away.
Yeah.
Because I was just starting my business, and my wife has to take care of babies. So international flight, going to Japan, 10 hours flight.
Right.
I mean, from my house, Camano, to my house in Japan, 25 hours maybe. Yeah. With a little baby.
Yeah.
It would be hard, but if I could meet myself, yes, I would say that.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
Try not to make it become a sad story, but that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. Well, no, and I think that's really important. We don't, none of us know, timing or any of that. Yeah. My mom last year had a stroke in March, and so she's now living in a home, and you always have these things of things happen, and then you have to deal with the new reality that you live in. But you don't, you can't go backwards. You can't, I should have spent more time, or I should have done this. So, spend time with your loved ones now.
That's the important thing. Yeah.
And, be happy for every moment you get. Very cool. And finally, where can listeners find you?
They can find me, of course, Camano Island on the beach sometimes, summertime. Or I like snowboarding, so I always go to Mount Baker. Yeah. Stevens, mostly Mount Baker. And I do downhill mountain biking, so local mountains, even like Little Mountain in Mount Vernon.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes, or Bellingham, what's the two big mountain bike trails there?
Yes.
Galbraith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I always go to Orcas Island for mountain biking trip with my buddies. So in Mount Constitution, that area, you might find me. Or Filson store, Patagonia store.
Yes. Yeah.
Or breweries. I don't know.
We should plan an REI trip.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's dangerous. Yeah. Gotta bring my bank.
Very cool. Where can people find you online?
Online, my website, tiremanstudio.com. Also, Instagram, I put my sketches or, work in progress kind of photos, my family photos sometimes. Mostly like kind of random art pieces when I'm working on. So it's at showgozilla.com. At showgozilla.
Okay.
Instagram. Yep.
Awesome. Very cool. And we'll have that linked in the show notes below. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast
Thank
today.
you.
Yeah. And Islanders, I will talk to you on the next one. Well, a big thank you to Shogo Ota for joining me on the podcast today, and thank you for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us be found by other Islanders like yourself. And for more information on this episode, you can go to camanocommons.com/podcast. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.